Welcome to the Ambassador Arena. My name is Nentia Smith, and I manage the Young Scholar Ambassador Program at the Davidson Institute. Our graduating ambassadors have the opportunity to be spotlighted in the arena. They've worked hard over the past 18 months to develop and successfully implement their projects. Each ambassador has put together a short video to share their project with you, and afterward, they share some inspiring and encouraging words of advice in my interview with them. Today's presenter is Class of 2022 Ambassador Lilah. She is the founder of Bridge to Coding, which aims to provide coding opportunities that increase middle school girls' confidence and skills. Enjoy her presentation.
Hello, my name is Lilah Lindemann. I'm 15 and I'm a junior at Miller Place High School in New York. My project, called the Bridge to Coding, is designed to share my love of computer science with younger girls. And it does this through programming workshops, which both bridge the gender gap and the divide between introductory and advanced level computer classes. Alright, let's get started. Starting in middle school, I began running science and engineering workshops for the Long Island Explorium and younger Girl Scout troops. As I watched elementary school girls build hydraulic arms out of popsicle sticks and syringes, create colorful doodlebots, and code mouse robots to zoom across the floor, I noticed their unbridled passion and enthusiasm for engineering and computer science. Yet my library robotics team in middle school was only about 20% female, and, until a month ago, I was the only girl on my high school robotics team. Somewhere along the line, girls are losing interest in programming, and it's not just me who's noticing this. Only 28% of the 134,992 students taking AP Computer Science exams were female in 2018. Women also only own 18% of computer science bachelor's degrees in the United States. Yet elementary school girls have about the same level of interest in computer science as elementary school boys. And if you look at this graph below, you can see that the percentage of women in computer science isn't getting better. This disconnect is terrifying, especially in a field as vital as computer science. We have to ensure that programmers and engineers have diverse perspectives, so that rather than entrenching our biases or violating ethical principles, computer science helps us comprehend and improve our world. Let's take a look at some of the factors at play here. Girls experience immense societal pressure, especially in middle school and high school. Furthermore, they may lack confidence in their skills, which is necessary to push past this. When the entire world is telling you, no, this isn't for you, you'll fail, and you don't have the confidence in yourself to know they're wrong, it can help push you away from computer science. Some of this lack in confidence comes from a lack of intermediate coding opportunities, a problem I myself encountered. There are lots of beginner block-based coding classes, and you can enroll in advanced competition-level programming classes as well, but it can be very difficult to find instruction in the basics of intermediate programming level languages. These courses are often inaccessible or difficult to find, and they're often also intimidating to girls with less experience. Programming is a very sink-or-swim environment, and middle school creates the perfect storm that causes many girls to give up trying to figure out computer science. But there is a solution. Experience of computing in junior high school increases girls' interest in coding by an average of 18%. We can build opportunities with intermediate programming classes, forming a bridge from beginner to advanced programming. This boosts confidence and assures girls of their skills, forming an on-ramp into a very much gate-kept field. And when we have more middle school and high school girls who code, we are creating the next generation of female computer scientists. Coding is really wonderful, both as a fascinating puzzle and a tool for change, and I wanted to dedicate my project to sharing it with other girls. First, I initiated and led an 11-week club through Girls Inc. of Long Island, loosely following the curriculum of a nonprofit called Girls Who Code. In this club, girls learn to code chatbots in Python in a supportive, all-female environment, while also discovering awesome female role models in computer science. Here are some examples of projects from our Girls Who Code club. We worked in Python to create turtle graphics and interactive text-based projects. Let's look at a few examples of our code in action. So, here we have one of our example projects. As you can see, we're using print statements, which allows the computer to help talk to the world. And then we're also using input statements. This makes our program interactive. We use variables, which is a very important programming concept, and we use if conditions. We also use a while loop over here. So as you can see, our Python chatbot projects go over basically all the basic skills that you need to know for text-based programming. We also incorporated a few others like for loops and casting, which you can see over here. So our Python Chatbots is a project that we worked on all throughout our Girls Who Code Club, and whenever we learned something new, we then added that to it. So this is really the culmination of our work. So I'm going to run it now so you can see how it works. So if I click run, it says hello, and it asks what your name is. Now you can type in your name, and it will actually use that right over here. It asks your age, so I input my age, and then it uses that in this if condition over here to determine whether or not you're old enough to drive a car. I say the magic number, say 5, and then it counts to that. And then here, we use a while loop to determine whether or not we should keep going or stop. So I'm going to scroll down a bit, and then say it says hello, I type hi back, it says hello again, I randomly keyboard mash, still hello, and now I type S, and then it stops. So we all added things to our programs, and we customized our chatbots to talk about whatever subjects we wanted. This is just a generic overview, but it shows how much work we put into this. We involved everything that we had learned, and a lot of the projects were even more extensive than this. Another thing that we worked with is turtle graphics. Turtle graphics are really great because they allow you to see directly what's happening on the screen. When you make the turtle green, the turtle turns green. If you tell it to go somewhere, you can watch it go there. So it's a really good illustration of how code can directly impact our world. So if we click run, this turtle makes a little face, and then it will move out off the screen, or mostly off the screen. So we worked on some different projects in Python using turtle graphics, and this allowed us to see, again, the direct impacts of our actions on our little world that we create here on our screen. And so turtle graphics are a really great illustration, and they also help to really engage the girls and show them that they can do anything with Python. They can create chatbots, they can create big projects which can help improve the world, and they can also just draw a face. We also worked on drawing things like snowflakes or circles, and we used our skills in Python turtle graphics to draw whatever we wanted. So there's a creative aspect to it too. I also started LA Hackers, an annual hackathon for middle school girls, in partnership with Girls Inc. of Long Island. Girls Inc. was a huge help, encouraging me to dream big and keep going despite some of the obstacles I faced. At the hackathon, girls learned game design, app building, and HTML/CSS. Then, they worked in teams to build awesome coding projects with their newfound skills. I worked with a number of community partners to bring cool workshops to the hackathon. Junie Learning helped spread the word about the hackathon and contributed an amazing instructor to teach about website creation and HTML/CSS. She connected with the girls by discussing their interests and showed the true power of coding by fiddling with her local version of Google's code. This was really awesome. I also reached out to Microsoft EDU and was super excited when they agreed to host a workshop in game design. Another workshop, this one in app building on a platform called Thunkable, was taught by a representative from Zebra Technologies. And last, but certainly not least, we had Carla Franklin Richards from Amazon.com. She works as a technology and business strategy consultant and shared her amazing story of how she happened upon computer science and fell in love with it. During her speech at the LA Hackers opening ceremony, she discussed the importance of perseverance and trying the tough stuff. It was really inspiring for me, and, based on a survey, the other girls found it inspiring as well. It was really amazing to see the girls working in teams and supporting each other in order to create a project that helped their community. Our winning project for the hackathon was an app called The Organized Place, designed to encourage kids with game rewards to complete tasks assigned by their parents. It was actually one of several projects to tackle this problem. I guess everyone fights with their parents about chores. The really cool part about this project was that it used everything we learned. The main app was built on Thunkable, and the game rewards were designed by the students. They also designed an awesome-looking website, which you can see here. Here are some other photos from the hackathon. In the top left, you can see the instructor from Junie teaching all about how to build a website in HTML and CSS. In the top right, you can see Carla Franklin Richards, and she's discussing her story and how she found her way into computer science. In the bottom left, we have a presentation from when the girls presented their projects, and in the bottom right, you can see some of the attendees of our hackathon. My project also got some local media attention through Newsday and WPix11. Preparing for these interviews helped me concisely summarize my thoughts and improved my ability to express my ideas, and also express why encouraging girls in computer science is so important. If you want to learn more, check out the LA Hackers website at lahackers.com. We're also on Facebook as LA Hackers, and you can subscribe to the LA Hackers newsletter to learn more about cool coding opportunities. Let's take a look at the website. So this you can see here is our homepage. You can learn about us and our mission, about what we do over here on the About Mission page, and this is where LA Hackers appeared in the news. Bridge to Coding explains our Girls Who Code Club, and it gives an explanation of what we did there. You can contact us with this contact form. You can also sign up for our email list, which you can click this hyperlink over here, or you can go to the sign up page, and this will subscribe you to our newsletter, which will inform you of any future workshops, hackathons, or news, or any coding opportunities that we found interesting that I think that you might enjoy. And you can answer a few questions, which will help us find the coding opportunities that are right for you. If you want to learn more about a hackathon, you can click on this page. We have an organized thing so that for future hackathons, each one, once it's over, it will go into a page of its very own, which is a sub-page under hackathon. So as you can see here, we have LA Hackers 2022. And here you can see what we did in 2022, what our winning team was. You can access what the games were, the prototype app, the model web page. We have a schedule, workshop descriptions, along with the organizations that ran them. We have a keynote speaker as well. You can also consult our resources from 2022, especially if you'd like to run a hackathon of your own. So we have our official guide, and that's a Google Doc that explains how we did things and what the students needed to know for this. Some of this is removed. This is a Zoom link, and that's just to make sure that nobody goes onto a Zoom room that's not being used. We have our project announcement, and this is the presentation for the hackathon, which explains what we wanted our projects to be, how we would organize our projects. It also contains our winning project over here. And finally, we have a trivia Kahoot, which we did right after lunch in order to energize the girls and get them ready for their second round of workshops on the first day. So if you'd ever like to use that, it's right over there. We also have a list of programming resources, which I compiled, and this can help if you are looking for ways to improve your coding skills. We've got some beginner stuff, some intermediate stuff, and we also have some advanced stuff. If you'd like to learn more about, say, Java, you can explore this IDE, and these are different ways that you can learn more about programming. And finally, we have a volunteer page. Currently, this has the volunteer opportunity from the hackathon, but if we have any more volunteer opportunities, then I'll put them right up here, and then you can explore that. So take a look at our website and see all about what LA Hackers did and what LA Hackers is continuing to do. I've really learned a lot from this project and the Ambassadors Program training. One really important part is that confidence is key, both for the girls I was encouraging and for myself as well. A lot of this I hadn't ever done before, but participating in training made me feel more prepared, and watching my fellow ambassadors succeed showed me that I could too. As I went further and further along in my project, I began to feel like, yeah, I actually can do this. I think the phrase is actually communication is key, not confidence is key. So let's compromise and say that both communication and confidence are key. Initiating an ambassadors project and following through on it is like one of those massive multi-key locks with a bunch of gears inside them. It takes so many moving parts to open them. But when those vault doors open, what lies inside is truly worth it. On this project, I reached out to community partners, talked with girls in Zoom calls. I even had a few phone conversations here and there, which is something I've really struggled with. And when Newsday and Pix 11 reached out, it was both exciting and a bit frightening. I had to learn how to express my ideas consistently and concisely to avoid miscommunication and maximize the impact of my words. It was definitely worth the effort, though. I was the only girl on my high school robotics team until one of my friend's parents saw the article in Newsday and encouraged her to join as well. To me, that was a sign that every bit of effort we put into something we care about matters, and this is what I care about. Of course, I've encountered difficulties. Having the support of Ms. Natia Smith of the Ambassador Program, as well as my peers, was really helpful. The program also helped holding me accountable, pushing me forwards even when stuff didn't go as planned. Working on this project has been an amazing experience to learn more about how to help my community. So thank you.
And now it is my privilege to introduce Lilah. Hi, Lilah.
Hello.
Thanks for being here today. That was a fantastic presentation. Thank you for sharing all the wonderful things that you're doing with your project. One of the things that really stood out to me is, and I think is one of the main reasons why your project has been so successful, is the fact that you took an experience that you had where you saw an issue or a gap, and then you created a project to help fill that gap or create a solution for it. And I think that is probably the secret formula for success when you have a project that you so personally connect with, and it continually gives you that motivation, that internal why.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And thank you too for walking us through your website, which looks amazing, by the way. It was really neat to see some of the examples of some of the coding activities that you do with your students. And it's so generous of you too to provide those resources for those who may be interested in doing something similar to what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd really like to be able to provide the resources so that if anybody else wants to try to do something like that, it's easier for them. Like this project was about making it easier for other people who might want to do what I've done. So
yeah, great. Thank you. Also, in your presentation, you mentioned confidence and communication is key, right? And then you shared this metaphor of a multi-key lock with many moving parts and unlocking the vault. I love that. So I think it's just a perfect representation of just kind of this whole process, right? So thinking about your experience over the past 18 months, what has given you the most confidence?
Well, first off, we're seeing the results of that confidence right now. 18 months ago, I'd be absolutely terrified of this interview. But over the course of my project, I've had to talk to a lot of people, collaborating with Girls Inc. of Long Island, recruiting different community partners, even teaching the workshops and the Girls Who Code Club meetings to young girls. So it took a lot of confidence to go on Zoom calls or do a phone conversation, especially when I kept thinking I'm going to mess this up. And every time I had to do like all this peopling, I'd just be really sapped of energy and really exhausted. But over time, every time I succeeded, every time I actually managed to do this, then it showed me I did it once, I can do it again. And so I stopped feeling as completely exhausted, it stopped taking as much of my energy. And I started feeling more like I could do this. And I started to realize that, I'm probably never going to be like a big socialite or something, but I can be good at this. I can talk to people and I can have conversations, and I can do this, what I'm doing right now. So I'm still worried. I'm still a little bit scared about this, but it's a lot easier. And I actually ended up getting interviewed for Newsday and Pix 11's Changemaker segment, and that was really nerve-wracking. And I kept thinking that I'm going to forget everything. So I made notes and I wrote these notes. I had them up. I reviewed them, practiced, and then I did the interviews. And it actually went well. And that also really helped my confidence because it showed that I could do this, and so I could do it again. And that's something that I've also focused on in my project because the projects, part of the point of the project is that once you do it, then you have proof that you've done it and you can keep doing it. So that's part of why I wanted to focus on this project-based learning. And then also as a second thing, confidence in a different sphere, seeing the young girls collaborate on their projects and have such enthusiasm about this has really given me a confidence that we can make a future where there isn't this gender gap in computer science. And hearing the hackathon's guest speaker, Ms. Carla Franklin Richards, she had this amazing keynote speech about perseverance and trying the tough stuff and how she had gone to these computer science courses and they were really hard, but she kept working through them. And so that encouraged me to keep trying to make sure that I stay determined. And I've also learned that it can be disheartening when I walk into a room and there's into a computer science class and there isn't a lot of girls, or I'm the only girl, and it's treated as normal and unchangeable. But I've also learned how to take that and take that that bad feeling and turn it into a drive to fix the situation. And it's made me all the more determined to succeed and really change this.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I think that, the fact that you prepared for, for conversations that you knew were going to be hard, right? And you were aware of that, and that helped you. And the fact that you built on those success stories, you did something that was kind of out of your comfort zone, and you're like, oh, hey, I wasn't too bad at that. It actually went pretty smooth. And then you kind of built on that. I think that's perfect. That's a perfect example of how to step out there, step out of your comfort zone, and know that it's okay, right? And if you mess up, it's okay. You tried, and we're all works in progress, right? So some of us are not great at public speaking, but we do it because there is a passion behind it. We know that we have to kind of step into that uncomfortable space in order to get to the goals that we want to get to, right? So now that you have all this, newfound confidence and you're peopling, and now that you've completed the ambassador training, what's next for you?
So LA Hackers 2022 took place in January, but I'm looking to run more workshops for middle school girls. There's one in cryptography and Python, and that's coming up on Monday, May 16th at 5 o'clock Eastern time. So if you're a middle school girl, so to the audience, if you're a middle school girl or know of any middle school girls who might be interested, they can attend this. And I'm also working with Girls Inc. of Long Island to continue LA Hackers because it will be an annual event. So we're working on scheduling that. I'm also working with my high school's robotics team to make it more accessible and to encourage more girls to join. I really love working with my robotics team. So I really want others to feel welcome to join too. And if you make it more accessible to everyone, then that will help people who might have less confidence or experience. And a disproportionate number of those are young girls who are looking into this and trying to see whether or not this is a path that they can explore. So I want it to really be open to people who want to explore this and who want to try this. So I'm working on that. Outside of the project, I have the next few weeks of junior year to get through, like AP exams. I'm doing flute, all-state auditions. I have finals. The list goes on. But after that, I'm going to be doing summer research in astrophysics, which I'm really looking forward to. And I'm really hoping that through the rest of my high school career in senior year, I'll be able to keep working on my project, and in just even my daily life. And I'm taking a scientific computing class right now, and in my robotics team and all the computer science things I go to, I'm hoping to be able to keep increasing I'm hoping to keep making a more supportive and encouraging environment for girls, even just with little things. Even just if there's like a young girl that joins the high school robotics team, then I'll make sure that she feels welcome and supported. So I'm just going to keep working on that. I'm going to keep encouraging people. And wherever I go to college, I know that I will definitely keep sharing this wonderful field with younger girls, because it really is wonderful. Computer science is like this giant puzzle. It's a lot of people think it isn't creative, but it really is creative. It's creative, and it's creative, and it has a lot of potential to cause change. And if we concentrate on that, it can cause really good change. So I want to keep sharing this.
Great. And you've worked so hard to get this project up and running, and you're providing so many great opportunities for young girls. So what is your call to action for the audience?
So if you have the time, the energy, and the passion, you can start hackathons of your own in your own area. As you mentioned earlier, the LA Hackers website has the resources created for this hackathon, a student guide or a project presentation in Google Slides and so on. There's also a list of coding resources there and information on our community partners. And if you look online, there's information on other people who have started hackathons, so that you can synthesize that information and start hackathons of your own and run them in your own way. And hackathons are really great because they both give you a chance to learn and create. So the combination of workshops and projects is a really great experience. But you can also volunteer your time and run workshops in your area. You can spark others' interest in computer science and look for those who want opportunities to learn but are having trouble finding them. And even if you're not a computer science person, or if you don't have the time to do this, because I mean, this project is time consuming, there is still something you can do. It seems really small, but if enough people do it, it can help tremendously. You can encourage girls just by not assuming that they're going to fail, by assuming that they're going to succeed. If you see a girl who's interested in computer science and you start thinking, oh, she's not going to succeed, or oh, she's going to quit, just realize that you're thinking that, and then try to address that, because it creates the society where girls, if everybody expects you to fail, you're going to expect yourself to fail. And that lack of confidence it kills in a field where unfortunately there's a lot of gatekeeping and toxicity. So if you're encouraging and you recognize that everybody has potential and that these young girls who are interested in computer science have potential, then you can nurture that seed of interest and encourage them to keep going, to keep exploring. Even if you aren't a computer scientist, even if you're completely not involved in this field, you can create a world in which girls feel comfortable to explore their interest in computer science.
Wonderful, wonderful. Such wise words, right? You want to support them and encourage them, not knock them down. Yes, great. And then lastly, there's one question that I've been asking every ambassador, and that is, what advice can you share with young people who have a passion to help others, but they just don't know where to start?
So you don't have to know from the get-go how you want to help. You can think of what you would have liked to have, or problems that you've watched other people have, and then you do research and contact relevant organizations to discover what the problem actually is. This part is really, really important. You have to make sure that the problem that you're addressing is one that actually exists by again, doing your research and talking to community organizations that are serving the community that you'd like to help. So you can poke around. There doesn't have to be a giant project in order for you to be helping. You can find local organizations and you can volunteer your time with them, work with the people who you are trying to help. For example, when I was working with Girls Inc., I wanted to see how they ran their programs. So I volunteered at their elementary STEAM club in order to get some knowledge of how they ran their virtual programs and learn how to do that, because they had a lot more experience with me. They had a lot more experience than me in that field. And so I learned from them and I saw what they were doing. And then once you found out what people are already doing and how they do it, then you can figure out what is missing and what they say that they actually need. And then you can figure out what you can do. So then once you have this idea, you have this problem that you want to fix, you start thinking of solutions, you start thinking of your own creative ways to solve it. I found that you definitely have to be flexible with what you're willing to do, but at a certain point, you also need to be careful not to end up being too flexible, because if you're working on a project that isn't at all what you set out to do, you're not going to be as motivated for it. So you have to make sure that you're addressing an actual problem. You have to make sure that you're actually doing something that will help. But you also have to be flexible with your methods, but you still need to hold true to that core vision that you had. And when you're collaborating with various people, especially if you're young and you don't have as much experience with this, your instinct's going to be whatever they say, you just go with that, even if you haven't presented your idea. But it's possible that your idea is a really good one. They'll hear this and they'll think it's a good idea. So you have to be assertive and stand up for your ideas and state them. And if you have an opinion, you should say it. You should be willing to go with what somebody else says, but you still need to state your opinion. You have to be assertive about your ideas, and you have to have the confidence to say, yeah, you could be right, even though you're young and you might think that you're automatically wrong. So as a young person who's passionate about what you're doing, you bring something really unique to the table. And so even though you need the advice of people with more experience, when tempered with like actual research and planning, if you have this enthusiasm, this commitment, and this determination, it can help inspire yourself and it can inspire others to keep dreaming big, keep trying new things, and keep thinking of new solutions. And it can really create this amazing project that you and other people wouldn't have tried otherwise.
Great. Yeah, amazing advice. And I know you've been there and you've done that, and it's worked for you. So thank you for that. And thank you, Lilah, for sharing your journey and your insights with us. If anyone is watching that has questions for you, where can they contact you or learn more about your project?
So you can learn more about my project at lahackers.com. There's a contact form on that page, but you can also email me directly at info@lahackers.com. And so you can email me, you can use the contact form. You can also look around our website, see what we have done. We have resources there, and I'm also adding any new things that are going on, such as the workshop on May 16th.
Perfect, great, thank you. Thank you for being a part of the ambassador program and for having the courage to put yourself out there and step out of your comfort zone and learn how to be resilient, and for doing what you do. You are such a great role model for so many young people out there.
Thank you so much. This program has been really great to be a part of.
Well, thank you. So please reach out to Lilah directly with any questions about her project. If you have any questions about the ambassador program, please feel free to reach out to us at ysap@davidsongifted.org. It's YSAP. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.